Howdy guys, lovely to see you all again. I've put this solo off for so long I can't believe I haven't done it yet. Let's have a look at the solo from Rainbow in the Dark by Dio. Why has it not happened? I don't know. Anyway, let's do it. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. I'm going to start off with a bend from 5 of the 4th string. Give it a bit of vibrato. Now I've just, as a personal preference, I like to bend these up. Trying to bend down and then do the vibrato at the bottom. You get that sort of shitty bees in a jar sound. So I've just found that bending up tends to sound a little bit sexier. Then after that, I'm going to slide into 5 of the 5th string and then play 3. And then play 2 twice. So all together. At the end of that, I want to play 5, 3, 5 on the 6th string. And then I work into an A minor pentatonic run. Alright, so after I've gone this A minor pentatonic run starting from the 4th string, I'm playing quite muted. So I'm going to be playing 5, 7 on the 4th and the 3rd string. And then I'm going to play a pull off from 5 to open, then 8 to open on the 2nd string. Interesting note choice. At the end of that, I'm going to play 5, 4, 5 on the 3rd string. So that's a little bit diatonic, but relatively pentatonic for the most part. Let's have a look at that at a gentleman's pace. At the end of that, I've sort of got an offbeat hammer-on leading into the next bar. So what I'm doing there is I'm sort of using the last eighth note beat, I guess, of that bar. And then I'm doing 2 more beats of trill. Now, I'm not exactly doing 16th notes or triplets. I'm just trying to feel out the beats to go and 1, 2, and then after 2 beats of trill, 1, 2, I've got to slide from that 5 to oblivion. So from that pentatonic run, 1, 2, and that's the first 4 bars of the solo. Let's do that all again relatively slowly, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the second section. We're kind of combining an A minor pentatonic with, I guess, some elements of a caged shape. So I'm going to work through this. Let's slow that down. I'm going to play 5, 7 on the 4th and 3rd, like what we had in the previous section. And then I'm going to play 5, 6, 8, 6, 5 on the 2nd string. So forwards and backwards there. Then back to the pinky again for another 6. Sorry, another 8. All together. Now when I get to the 1st string, I'm going to go forwards and backwards. 5, 7, 8, 7, 5. Then jumping to 8 of the 2nd string. All together. Okay, hopefully that's all making sense. Now the next phrase that I work into is basically the same thing twice, but one of them has a tripleted 16th note grouping and the other one just has a straight 16th note grouping. So it's going to go like this. You can see it's basically the same notes twice, just a little bit slower on the second hammer on. So I'll go through it slowly and you'll see what I mean. I'm going to be playing 5, 7 on the 1st string and then a hammer on pull off 5, 7, 5. At the end of that, I play 8 of the second string, back to 5 of the first, back to 8 of the second. So it's going to go like this. Okay, so if I do that again with the triplet rhythm, and then if I do that again with the 16th rhythm, it's the same thing again, just with a slightly slower hammer on the second time. So we've got, and they're both ending in the same spot. The only difference is the next time I'm going to kind of tie that 8th note over, so that 8th fret note over into a bend, and then it works into that little pentatonic run that follows that. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far, and then we'll look at the next chunk of the section. Okay, so as you just saw then, I'm carrying that 8 over and bending it up a full tone, and then I work into this phrase. Okay, so after that bend, I'm working through a very triplety pentatonic vibe. I'm playing 5 of the first string, and then I want to play 8 to 5 as a pull-off twice on the second string, and then jumping to 7 of the third. So it'll go quick backtrack to the 5 of the second string, and then I'm doing a big bend on 7 of the third string. I'll play that again a little bit slower. After the bend, I'm bringing it back down to its rest position and then just giving it some cheeky vibrato. After that, I'm doing a hammer-on pull-off, going 5, 7, 5 on the third, and then I slide that back to 4, and I'm going to go 4, 5, 4, 5, and then pull off to 4. So it's got 3 notes, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 notes from that 4, 5, 4, 5 part. After I've gotten back to that 4, I pull off, and then I slide off into oblivion. And that's the whole second section. Let's go through that again at a gentleman's pace, and then again even slow with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, section 3, this is when things get a little bit cray-cray. I'm going to start off by playing 12, 15, and then a pull off from 13 to 12 on the first string. And then I work into this. At full speed, you're probably going to find that a little bit of economy picking is going to help with a phrase like this. So I'm playing 15 of the second into 12 of the first, and then rolling 15, 13, 12 on the second string, resolving that to 14 of the third. So all together, so I'm kind of going from 4 16th notes to 2 triplets. At the end of that, I'm going to repeat the pull off from 13 to 12 on the second string, and then jumping back to 14 of the third string. So all together, at the end of that, I'm going to do this rolling idea now. 12, 13, 15, 13, 12 on the second string, still legato. Once again, resolving to 14. So all together, at the end of that, I'm playing 12 of the second string, then pulling off 14, 12 on the third string. So all together, at the end of that, I've got a big bend from 14 on the third string, and I hit it again and slide off, and then it works into this phrase. So let's slow that down. I'm going to be playing 12, 14 on the third string, and then 17 of the second string twice. Then I do it again, but the 17 is going to drop to the first string. So we're going to go like this. And then I'm going to do one of each. So all together. At the end of that, I'm going to do the second string group again. But then after that, instead of going back to the 12, I'm just going to be playing 14, 17, 14 like this. So all together now of that group. Hopefully that's all making sense. Let's go right back to the start of the section and then we'll work on the last chunk. Okay, then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. Sounds a little bit wussy with this amount of distortion, but it is a good explaining amount of gain. What I've got here is 17, 19, 20, 17 on the first string. I'm picking all of these before the crazy legato. Then from that point, I'm working into a 6-note phrase. I'm hammering 17, 19, 17, then playing 20 of the second string, and then quickly backtracking 17 of the first to 20 of the second, and that's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So after we've gone like this, I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to work through that 6-note phrase twice. At the end of that, I'm only going to have 5 on that last one, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're nearly going to do the same thing 3 times. I'm just going to leave out that last note, and that's going to get us ready for at the start of section 4. So I'll go from that last little chunk, nice and slow. Okay, let's go through all of section 3. I know it's a doozy, thanks for bearing with me, and we'll obviously do it again even slower with some tabs straight after. So here we go at a gentleman's pace. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at section 4. There's something kind of disturbedy or Kirk Hammety about this riff. So it sounds quite familiar, but we've got 2 of that little idea at the start of this phrase. So I'm going to pull off 20 to 17, then 19 to 17 on the first string, and then jump to, what have I got there? I've got 20 of the second string into 17 of the first, and I want to do that phrase twice. And at the end of that, I'm going to keep pulling off to 17, but changing sort of the starting note. So I'm going... So let's slow that down. Constantly pulling back to 17, I'm going 20, 19, 20, 22. That's going to sound like this. At the end of that 22, I had 20 to 19 again, so I'm going to go... So from the start of the section, we should have this. Hopefully that's making sense. Now the start of the next little chunk is going to be more pull-offs. So what I'm going to do here, still keeping that sort of pedaled 17, I'm going to play 20, 19 twice again. And then it goes 20 to 24. Apologies if you watched all the way to this part of the solo and you don't have a guitar with 24 frets, but it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. You can just quickly fret nothing and no one will notice. So here we go. So we're going to go... After that 24, one more 2019, and then I've got sort of a swept, sort of A minor pentatonic kind of vibe. I'm bending that 19 very briefly, and then sweeping through 17 of the second and the first string. At the end of that, I'm going to do a pull off from 20 to 17 on the second, and then bend the crap out of that 20. Okay, let's go from the start of the section. Look what we've got thus far. I think it gets even sillier after that, unfortunately. Here we go. Okay, hopefully that's all making sense. So I've got that bend leading into the next bar. Then I work down a pretty crazy pentatonic lick. I'm playing 17 of the second, then a double pull off from 20 to 17 on the second string. So 17 of the first, double pull off. Then I jump to 20 of the third, and then a quick jump back to 17 of the second and 20 of the third. So we should have this. Okay, then I work into this phrase. Then we work that into the last chunk. So it's just fast hammer-on pull-off antics after that. So what I've got at the front of this is I'm playing 17, 20, 17 is a hammer-on pull-off. I've got 3 notes and then the string change to 20 of the 3rd string. I'm going to do that twice. Then I do it again, but I'm going to do sort of a double hammer-on, and that's going to give us 5 notes on the 2nd string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then jump up a string. So I'm going to do the single hammer-on pull-off and then the double. So I got 2 of that, then the double. Okay, after that, I'm going to do nearly 4 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, it's a pull-off and then the bend. So on that last one, I'm doing a hammer-on pull-off, then a pull-off from 19 to 17 on the 3rd, and then the bend. So we've got this. Hopefully that's making sense. So I'm going to go right from the start of that crazy bit. Double, then nearly 4 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that will lead us into section 5. So let's go right back to the start of the section, play it all again at a gentlemanly speed, and then even slower with some tabs. Thank you for being patient with me. This is a pretty crazy section. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, last section, keeping in mind that we've just come from that big angry bend from 19, and I'm going to start this section with a vibrato 19 on that on beat, and then I work into this sort of legatoed sliding idea. So what I've got here is I'm hammering 17, 19, 17, sliding back to 16, and hammering 16, 17, 16. So we're going to be working in triplets. Similar idea, but from 14 to 16, and then 12 to 14. So if you don't stop and you've got distortion in between, you should be able to do that all in one pick. Very bullet for my Valentine. At the end of that, I'm going to play 12, 13 on the 2nd string. So we've got... Okay. After that, I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. So we've gone from that 12, 13. That 13th note is going to blend into, well, the 13th fret note is going to blend into the next bar. I've got a quick hammer-on pull-off going 12, 13, 12 on the 2nd, jumping to 14 of the 3rd. Then from that point, I'm going to play 12, 13, 15, 13 on the 2nd string. So it's going to go... And then I go... I'm going to borrow that phrase again. I'm going to do the hammer-on pull-off from 12, jump to 14 of the 3rd string, back down to 12 of the 2nd and 14 of the 3rd string again. So we're going to go... Now the next bit is more hammer-on pull-off antics. It's nearly all the way it goes from the triplets into just sort of 2 8th notes at the end. Or quavers if you're from the British side of the world. So what I'm doing here is still working in triplets, 12, 14, 12, still on the 3rd string. Got a bit babbled there. 10 to 12, 9 to 10, then 7, 9, 7, then 5, 7, 5, and then 4, 5, 4. So we've got, obviously with the distortion, your slides will carry. A bit of rage helps as well. At the end of that, just playing 2nd fret to open on the 3rd string. So we've got... Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. Use that chunky A5 at the end if you want to. So I've got two different strings here that I'm using. I'm using the 1st and the 2nd string. I'm doing 2 natural harmonics on 5 of the 2nd string, and then 1 on the 1st, then back to the 2nd. At the end of that, Nice bluesy lick there. I'm playing 5 of the 3rd string, bending 7, pulling back to that 5, then resolving to 7 on the 4th. After that, I'm just playing a cheeky A5 and open 5th string and the 4th string on 2nd fret. So, let's have a look at this phrase. Let's have a look at the whole section from that vibrato 19. We'll borrow that bend from the previous section. One more time with some tabs. And that was the solo from Rainbow in the Dark by Dio. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Please click the links in the description box if you would like to join up with the Patreon to get tabs and extra content and all the other cool stuff. Also have 2 books out at the moment. Ultimate Shred Machine if you want to up your chops in shredding, sweeping, legato and tapping. And my most recent book, Rock Mode Guitar Mastery, is out now if you want to up your understanding of modes in composition and improvisation. I also have both books available in a video course if you're not much of a reader. Anyway, I'll catch you guys all very soon.